Welcome back to part 4 of our 5-part series. So far, we've covered the science. Today, we're covering something much more immediate. What all of this actually costs you, personally, right now. Since 2021, the average U.S. home insurance premium has climbed 46%, roughly 3 times the rate of general inflation. And that's just one of 5 bills we're covering today. Insurance isn't the only cost quietly pricing in climate risk. Your health, your groceries, and even your exposure to disease are shifting too, often before anyone explicitly connects the dots for you. Let's start with the most immediate cost of all, your health. Because heat is already the deadliest weather-related hazard most people face. More than people realize. Let's talk about the heat bill. U.S. heat-related deaths hit a record 2,415 in 2023, climbing 124% since CDC tracking began in 1999. To be fair, 2024 and 2025 both showed encouraging declines, but the underlying growth rate researchers calculated is still steep. 16.8% compound annual growth from 2016 to 2023. If sustained, that could push the U.S. past 5,000 heat deaths a year by 2030. And it isn't distributed equally. Arizona and Nevada consistently post the highest heat death rates in the nation, with Arizona seeing nearly 10 deaths per 100,000 residents. Europe is seeing the same acceleration. Spain recorded 3,832 heat deaths in summer 2025 alone, an 87.6% jump from the year before. Europe's 2026 heat wave had already killed over 1,300 people by June. One honest caveat worth knowing. Some researchers point out that modeled excess death estimates don't always cleanly match registered mortality statistics. It's a genuine, ongoing methodological debate, not something fully settled. Still, the global attribution is substantial. A major study estimated 178,486 global heatwave deaths in 2023 alone, with 54.3% specifically attributable to human-caused climate change. Now let's follow the supply chain, because your grocery bill is quietly telling the same story. A 2023 to 2024 drought in Brazil, which supplies a third of U.S. coffee, drove a 55% jump in global coffee prices, and tariffs have kept pushing prices higher into 2025. Cocoa jumped 280% in a single year after a February 2024 heat wave following drought hit Ghana and the Ivory Coast, the world's top cocoa producers. Florida's oranges tell a similar story. Yields collapsed after Hurricane Ian devastated groves in 2022, compounded by a disease spread by an invasive insect that thrives in warmer conditions. The USDA now forecasts a 3.6% overall rise in U.S. food prices for 2026, with beef alone projected to climb 12.1%, among the largest increases of any single category. This isn't just anecdote. A 2024 Nature study examined 27,000 monthly price records worldwide and found heat spikes reliably push food inflation up for at least a year in both rich and poor countries alike. By 2035, projected warming alone is expected to add 1.4 to 1.8 percentage points of extra food inflation per year across North America. Next, something that doesn't show up on a receipt, but shows up in a hospital bill instead. Mosquito species that once stayed confined to the tropics are rapidly expanding into temperate regions of Europe and North America, as those areas become climatically suitable for the first time. Researchers project 298 to 460 million additional people will be exposed to vector-borne disease risk due to climate change alone. 2024 already set a grim record of its own, the largest number of global dengue cases ever recorded in a single year. Extreme weather can trigger outbreaks directly, not just gradually. Malaria cases in South Asia increased fivefold, following severe flooding in 2022 alone. And the trend is projected to keep climbing. Current models project a 25% increase in global mosquito density and a 35% rise in dengue incidence by 2050, closer to home. Since 1990, the range of black-legged ticks has more than doubled in the U.S., and Lyme disease cases have more than tripled over 20 years. Roughly 476,000 people are now diagnosed and treated for it annually. Which brings us back to that number from the beginning, the one that might already be hitting your mailbox. The average U.S. home insurance premium is projected to hit $3,057 in 2026, after jumping 12% in 2025 alone. This isn't isolated to a few unlucky states. Premiums rose in 95% of U.S. zip codes between 2021 and 2024. This is a nationwide pattern, not a regional one. In the highest risk states, it's far worse. Homeowners in Nebraska, Louisiana, Florida, Oklahoma, and Kansas now pay upwards of $4,400 a year on average, over $2,000 above the national average. A U.S. Treasury analysis of over 243 million home insurance policies confirmed the pattern directly. Communities routinely hit by severe weather pay substantially more than those that aren't. And in the worst cases, coverage disappears entirely. Insurers have pulled out of the highest risk areas altogether, leaving some homeowners with no private coverage option left at all. Even your electric bill is climbing. The average U.S. household's summer electricity cost is projected to hit $792 this year, up 10.5% from last year and nearly 40% higher than just in 2020. For lower-income households, this becomes a genuine trade-off. 1 in 6 U.S. households is already behind on utility bills, and total utility debt nationwide could reach $25 billion by late 2026. Step back, and this isn't 5 separate stories. Health costs, food costs, disease exposure, insurance, and utility bills. 5 completely different costs, tracing back to the exact same warming trend we've covered across this entire series. It compounds hardest on those with the least room to absorb it. Lower-income households face the exact same rising costs, with far less financial cushion to weather any single shock. An honest caveat before we wrap up this section: not every price increase here is caused by climate change alone. Tariffs, conflict, and ordinary inflation all compound with it, not separately from it. But the climate-specific contribution is real, measured, and growing. Across every category we've covered today, researchers can isolate and quantify it. And in every single one, it's rising. Let's pull it all together. 2,415. U.S. heat deaths in 2023's record year, with a growth rate that remains steep even after recent declines. 55 to 280%. Price spikes in coffee and cocoa alone, driven directly by drought and heat waves in key growing regions. 46%. The rise in average U.S. home insurance premiums since 2021, 3 times the rate of general inflation. $792, the projected average U.S. summer electricity bill this year, up nearly 40% since 2020. Plus disease ranges expanding into entirely new regions, hundreds of millions more people newly exposed to mosquito-borne disease risk that simply didn't exist there before. Which raises the question we're covering next. If this is the cost to your household, what's the cost to the businesses and economies all around you? As always, a new video every 5 days. Part 5, the final part of this series, the business of climate change, trillions of dollars in economic risk, and what actually works to reduce it. Thanks for watching this deep dive into what climate change actually costs you personally. Subscribe so you don't miss Part 5, the finale, out in 5 days, and let me know in the comments which cost surprised you most.